Triple H made a really interesting comment after SummerSlam and the post event press conference, which I love. I love these post event press conferences they do. And they have talent, it's kind of the talent or sort of a mix of kayfabe and being real and stuff like that. And then also just getting people picking Triple H's mind and getting an inside look at what he's thinking is always interesting too. But he said, and this is a quote, "This year is going to close out big. I'm excited for all of it. The future is bright. This is the most amazing roster I think I've seen, most talented, most dedicated. Everybody's having a blast right now, including me, which is the best part of it. And we're all just charging ahead. So if what I believe to be coming is true, you ain't seen nothing yet." And that's something that's pretty bold because 2024 has been great. We just saw WrestleMania 40, which is, the greatest, probably, at least the best WrestleMania main event of my lifetime, the most entertaining. And it's just a great, fantastic card. And I covered this over Ringside, threw out some ideas of what this could be. One of them being maybe Brock Lesnar finally makes his return, a match with Gunther. That'd be a great way to really push Gunther over to another level. Bloodline Civil War. What do you feel? Do you think could be these things that he sees in the pipeline that are even maybe bigger than this big first half that maybe we're not? Like, put on your full-on speculation hat, and what do you think some of these could be?
It'll be interesting to see if they have any surprises that we're not thinking of. Because, man, to your point, it's been a huge year for WWE. But yeah, I think you mentioned the big name, and that's Brock. Brock. We're not sure where he stands in this whole situation that happened with Vince McMahon and allegations that apparently he was tangentially a part of. So how they handle that and how they navigate that, to what degree, that's something I have to look at. But Brock against Gunther, my God, that would be a dream match scenario if that were to come down the pike. I think another big name that's going to play into a big part of that, and it's not necessarily a surprise, but still we have yet to see what it's going to look like, is John Cena. Cena has announced his retirement tour, you know what I mean? So, this is the final year for him. And, we since the announcement, we haven't seen any matches or anything like that. So I think that's going to start taking shape. Will it be, the one last time against Randy Orton or against like CM Punk? Does he face somebody like Gunther? Does he get involved in the Bloodline storyline? What that looks like. That could add to the excitement too, because Cena is, the biggest name WWE has had for a long time, and him wrapping it up has to be one of the big things that WWE presents going forward. So for the second half, I expect that to be a big deal. In terms of surprises, I'm kind of racking my brain, but a big piece of that's looking tremendous is NXT. A lot of the women's signings that they did, it may not be to the degree of a Brock Lesnar or things like that, but Stephanie Vauquer and Julia coming in, fans are clamoring to see what that looks like. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of excitement down about, Ethan Page is the current world champ, but is Trick Williams going to get it back? Like that kind of thing. NXT has been cooking with gas, you know what I mean? So that's a big thing that could play into it. He may just be talking about everything in general. And, lost in the weeds of all this is the fact that Cody is the champ. And Cody is still, super over with the fans, you know what I mean? So it's like, to see what that'll look like going forward. LA Knight finally has a United States Championship, who are going to be some of his challengers. A lot of things that the fans have wanted to see for the longest time are currently happening. We're in the thick of it, just like with, Roman's return. So it's like, when he's painting that kind of a broad brush, I think that's a lot of what he's talking about. They have a lot of exciting plans kind of maybe mapped out from here to the end of the year or even until WrestleMania. So we're going to start seeing a lot of that take shape. What that looks like, as fans, this is a great time to be a fan, because for the longest time we labored about how being a WWE fan is like them, succeeding despite themselves. But now they're just, really, really rolling along, and we're going along for the ride.
It's a tough one because I mentioned in the article, there aren't necessarily those, outside of what we kind of mentioned, some other free agent that might be on the way, like New Japan. Usually their free agents are at the end of the year, December into January. So he doesn't mean that's not going to happen this year. Maybe like I mentioned in the article, Lucha Brothers, maybe he knows. He knows they are coming, and that's a big one. He knows how valuable they are. Maybe he knows like Ricky Starks is ready to come over once the contract. And those are real big additions and stuff like that. I feel like it could be some more crossover stuff. Terrence Crawford made a few appearances for WWE recently on stuff.
Yeah.
He has mentioned he'd be open to kind of doing more, maybe a match and stuff like that. We've seen that's how you know the product is so hot. Little Wayne, Jelly Roll, all the Terrence Crawford, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton showing up on shows like it's
make that happen.
Yeah, maybe that's one of them. That's a match, Jalen Brunson and Tyrese Halliburton. But I don't know. The season's going to start soon. They'd have to set that up soon. But maybe Jake Paul. Logan's brothers here. I mean, Logan's here. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson November. Maybe they know. Okay, once that fight is done, December. Jake and Logan are going to do a tag match or something like that. That's another one. I also thought about maybe the idea of maybe they're going to introduce some matches we haven't seen in a while. Maybe like a First Blood with Finn Balor and Damian Priest and their feud and stuff like that. You bring that blood element into it. There's a Netflix thing and everything that's coming up. Maybe that changes how the content is. And the last one I wanted to mention, I think, going to what your point of NXT. NXT, one of the best things about NXT right now is this unique relationship with TNA. It seems like for the last the last 6 months to a year, there's really been these little things that have been done for a while that WWE's really trying to get a footprint in Japan. They sent Shinsuke over there to face Great Muta in his last match, but I think that was for Noah. They've had some talent over there wrestling for All Japan. They're working with the guy who used to work with Stardom. Now that he's created his own promotion, I feel like that's on the way too. Like maybe we're going to see All Japan talent start showing up in NXT or something like that, or even the main roster. I think like a bigger influence into Japan might be another big part of what's going on. They've always seen value there, but either way, as a fan, I'm excited to see what's to come, and it's already been a fantastic year as a wrestling fan, especially for WWE fans. It's up to be even more so.